All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we are going to be talking about the state of the Los Angeles Clippers. They're not in a good spot, albeit they will compete this upcoming year and be a competitive team. When I say competitive, I don't mean a 2 seed, 3 seed, more like a 6, 7 seed where, yeah, they're going to look good throughout games of the regular season, but that's as far as it's going to go. The reason why I want to talk about them, though, is they're in a tough spot. And what I mean by tough spot, we're going to talk about right now. Looking at their roster, there is one thing you notice above all else, because there's a lot that you notice as I scroll down. Some of these players are old. And who on this team can they pass the torch to? Let's talk about it, though. Let's talk about the age of these players. They just signed Chris Paul, so they just got that much older. James Harden, how old is he? 35. And he turns 36 before the start of this upcoming season. So James Harden will be playing at 36 years old. Bradley Beal's 32. He just turned 32. Kawhi Leonard is 34. Just turned 34. John Collins is not that old, but he's 27. So definitely some fresh legs on the team. Zubac is 28. Chris Paul's what? Going 40? He is 40. Chris Paul's already 40. Okay, well, there's that. Chris Dunn is young. I don't even need to look at him. He's about, what, 27? I will, just to prove a point. Oh my God, he's 31. Point not proven. However, oh, you know what it is? He was drafted, I think, out of his junior or senior year. That's definitely what it was. He was drafted out of his junior or senior year because a 2016 draftee, yeah, he was 22 at the time of the draft. If he was 18, he'd be 27 now. So that explains that. Anyway, Derrick Jones Jr. should be about 28. Okay, cool. So this is where, you get some of your role players who are a bit younger. Brook Lopez is 37, I want to say. 37. So we got Kawhi, James, Brook, Chris, and Batum, who are just significantly older. And you think of old players and you're thinking LeBron James is still really good. LeBron James is the exception to the old rule. Most guys do not produce. He's the first player who's really been good at that old of an age. And when I say really been good, I mean elite, because he's still elite. Despite what some people may think or believe, his production is still elite. So, am I saying James Harden's going to be worse this upcoming season? No. I'm not saying that about any of these players. Well, maybe some could be, but that's not the point of what I'm saying is their future, there's nothing here. This roster is not a championship contending roster, and they're going to roll them out, and try to compete to the best of their abilities. Tyronn Lue, great coach, already got a championship under his belt. But again, where do we go in the future? Where do we look at this roster and say, we're building something? Well, this year, they only had the 30th pick in the draft because of the draft swap when they traded for Paul George with the Thunder. So they had the 30th pick for a team who really needs to start getting younger. What's next? You have to really think about that as a fan. What is next? You are bound to start rebuilding at some point. This roster is not good enough to compete for a championship. And let's say they are the 3 seed and at the deadline they trade, for a player to say, this is it. This is the year. Well, you look at the draft assets, right? Their first round picks, they don't have one this year. In 2027, OKC has the right to swap for it for the best pick. 2029, Philadelphia has the right to swap. So 2027, 2029, you're getting pick swaps. 2026, you don't have a pick. So if you wanted to trade for a player, right, you're giving up 20, 30, 31, or 32 first round picks. The problem with that is because your players are so old now, you are quite literally destroying your future by getting rid of these very valuable Clipper picks. 2030, 2031, and 2032 are super valuable because right now, most teams, They have that one young player who they're like, okay, this guy, we're going to, hope to develop him and he's going to get better over the course of our future for the franchise. The Clippers literally don't have that guy. They don't. And if they wanted to trade someone in 2 years, you have to hope Zubac continues to perform the way he is at 30 years old, which he should be, but you never know with centers, right? You just never know. So you have to think to yourself, where is the future on this roster? You just drafted Yannick Konan. I'm not pronouncing that last name. The last part of the last name, I should say. But where's the future here? There's literally none. There's no one who you're looking to develop and say, this guy's going to be a star right now. And this year, you don't have a pick. And next, again, I already went through the assets and how that looks like. So, can you really afford to trade a 2030 pick, 2031 pick, 2032 pick for a better chance this year? But let's be honest, this team's not beating the Thunder, the Nuggets. They're not even beating the Lakers or playoff Warriors, assuming the Warriors are healthy. And that's assuming this team is healthy. We look at the history of Bradley Beal, injury prone. Kawhi Leonard, injury prone. Chris Paul, Nicholas Batum, old. Chris Dunn can't shoot the ball. Derrick Jones Jr. is a solid role player. Brook Lopez, old. It's just one of those things, man. I don't know what the Clippers are really hoping to achieve here, because let's say, you're a 6 seed at the trade deadline. Do you just ride this out even though your future is totally screwed? If I'm the Clippers, I definitely go into the season looking to compete. But at trade deadline, if you're the 6-7 seed, are you going to beat the Thunder, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets? You look at teams that are getting better in the Spurs. Are you going to beat the Spurs? Maybe. Depending on how the Spurs shape out, we obviously don't know. They're still a wild card because they could be really good. I don't think they're winning the championship this year really good, but still a solid team. At the trade deadline, you have to heavily think. James Harden still has value this year. Kawhi Leonard, if healthy, still has value this year. Zubac has value in the foreseeable future. You look at Zubac, he's 28. He has value in the foreseeable future. John Collins has some value in the foreseeable future. But I say we, but I'm not even a Clipper fan. But if you trade these pieces in 2 years, the value dips. You don't have the draft picks to build towards the future anyway, and then you're just going to be bad for a while. You're going to be a bad team for a while. So the plan here needs to be, okay, what are we doing? What's the deadline for us to be okay? Or what's the threshold? Do we have to be the 3 seed to make a push? Or to not use our draft assets at all and just to say, we'll ride it out? What are we doing? And again, I say we, but I'm not a Clippers fan. You can see how I'm looking at the Clippers situation and thinking, this is weird. This is really weird, because you could be trading it away all now. And there's no way the GM thinks this is a championship roster. He may believe it's a competitive roster, but the Clippers are not a championship roster right now. There's not one player who you're looking at and thinking, this is a big piece towards our future. The timelines just don't make sense. No one here is 21, 22, 23, and just young star. So Clippers really, really need to think about what they want to do here. Again, had the 30th pick. It's not going to get better for the next 3 years, 2026, 2027, 2029. So 2028, you get your own pick. 2 years from now, you get your own pick. Is that the year you tank? Presumably when these players are just, not here. It's something to think about if you're a Clippers fan. I'm sure there's no way you haven't thought about it. You were 50-32 this season, or just more so pulling up the entire standings. You're 50-32 this season. If you're hoping to get better, how much better is realistic? You're also needing to stay healthy, which is something that has been elusive for some of these players on your roster. And then James Harden has been notorious for not showing up in the playoffs when he's needed most. Again, I've been adamant that narrative is on him and he can change it. But until he does, that's just the narrative that's going to stay until he changes it. So what's the move here, Clipper fans? What are you thinking? Do you want to just ride it out anyway and say, like, let's just see how far we can go? Do you want to give yourself a threshold for where you should be at the deadline? Should you be at the 4th seed, 3rd seed? Because in my opinion, if you're the 8th seed, players got to go. Players got to go. Gotta go. Can't happen. One year of competitive play is not worth your entire future, where you can ship guys out now, rebuild your draft capital now, as opposed to riding out this year, maybe next year. But again, guys are already old as hell, dude. It's something to think about. I've given you a pretty good idea of the state of the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me know what you guys think. I'm in favor of them planning towards, again, that threshold of where are we going to have to be minimum to just ride this out, as opposed to shipping out players, because they can get good draft capital right now or at the deadline for guys like Zubac, James. Even though they're older, look what Kevin Durant got you. Obviously, James Harden isn't Kevin Durant. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy, could definitely get you some similar. To a desperate team, you can get something similar for Kevin Durant, for a team that's wanting to make that final push. I'm just saying, Clipper fans, you can do what the Thunder did and plan for the future. You can get rid of a guy who's doing something now, but you know it's just not going to work on your current timeline. Paul George did not work on the Thunder's timeline. But look where they are now. Obviously, it's easy to say because they got Shea in return for a Paul George, but get a young player in return for your star player. You know what I mean? Now is the time to make those decisions, because in a couple years, you're not going to have time. It's over. You would have lost it. This is the window to do it. Let me know what you guys think. Really appreciate you guys for watching. As always, feel free to like and subscribe. It goes a long way to help with the channel. This is Ollie Been Different. All we've been different. And we out.